This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
99X. It's Barnes and Leslie. We are your Morning X. Solo travel. I asked you earlier. You said you're not a fan. It's just not for you.
No,
right?
I like somebody to, hang out with and do things with.
Same. I'm the same. My wife, however, is the opposite. She will go. It's funny when one of us starts planning a trip, like one ear's out to see if we want to be in it, because we're not afraid to solo travel. But she'll start talking about, I found this whale watch. It's on this tiny peninsula south of Cabo where you have to put waders on to get to it, and you sleep in a tent with no air condition. I'm like,
you were like,
have
peace
fun.
out.
Yes, have a good time. Take lots of pictures. Can't wait to see.
Heather does that all the time.
Yeah.
She travels by herself all the time.
And that's kind of solo adventure travel. Want to introduce you to a specialist. If you've ever, your curiosity has been piqued and you want to get into it, Jessica Camarada. I think you should follow her on Instagram because she has beautiful pictures. And Indigo Day is her account. Please welcome Jessica. Hey, Jessica, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good. You're a half Atlantan. Is that the deal?
Yeah, half Atlanta, half New York. I'm kind of splitting my time right now.
That's a wonderful thing. Which one are you in right now?
I'm currently in New York, and it's very, very cold. I can tell you that. It's great.
Where's your place in Atlanta? Not an address, but what part of town are you in?
I'm in Buckhead. I've been in Buckhead for a very long time.
Nice.
So that was sort of the draw to do something a little different and shake it up a bit and come to New York for a little bit.
Well, we're neighbors.
Oh, great.
I love everything that you do. Practical style, beauty, everyday tips, and of course, travel. So
yeah.
When did you start the solo travel?
I think it was sort of gradual. I remember my very first real solo international time, and I went to Paris for I think it was just 2 nights. I was meeting my dad in London to do a trip with him, and I was like, if I'm going to fly all the way to Europe, let me just go check out one more spot before I see him. And so that was really my first introduction to it, and that was in college. And I honestly did it really wrong, and I hated it. I hated Paris. I hated the trip. I just didn't plan properly. It was pre-Uber, and I just didn't have a good time. And yet I still wanted to experience different cities and destinations, and you can't always just wait around for someone to do it with you. And so I just sort of started doing it even more. And now Paris is one of my most favorite places. I actually spent an entire month there by myself, and I just loved it so much. So you kind of have to try it out and figure out what works best for you.
Do you not have a significant other?
I don't, and I think that's also part of the reason why I love doing it so much. I am grateful, though, that I have a lot of wonderful girlfriends who will travel with me. They will leave their husbands at home and go on trips. So I do a lot of, girlfriend trips. But at the moment, I do not have a significant other to do the travel with. So
and that makes sense.
Do it. You have to do it.
I was mentioning my wife will do it in a second. If it's something that I'm she'll just do it. I would go nuts. When the day ends and you're not around at least your bartender or your whoever, someone you can interact with, I would just go absolute nuts.
Now, you've mentioned Paris being one of your favorite cities. Where else have you traveled solo that you love?
I have done, I went to Puerto Rico by myself, and, you mentioned not being able to hang out with anybody. I went on a food tour in Puerto Rico by myself. I just wanted something to do and to, check out San Juan. And there was another girl around my age who was traveling solo. She lives in New York. We're now friends and hang out. And so it's such a nice way to also meet other travelers.
That's how society has kind of become. You think about people meeting online now. That's the norm as opposed to just, So I don't think that's, so shocking.
Totally.
What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you on a solo trip?
Ooh.
Honestly, it was probably my first solo trip that I did to Paris, those 2 days. It was my first international trip. I didn't really ever experience such a massive time change before. And one of my favorite tips when you do go to Europe is to master that time change right away, because it can really set the tone for the trip. But I just remember sleeping until 1 o'clock. I only had barely 2 days there. I slept through almost a whole day. I lost all that time, and I was really pissed about it. I just really was like, I can't believe I just slept. So now I've got like a whole routine, and I've kind of like really mastered the time change to get to Europe. So I've just made it really easy.
Big rookie route. You did a big rookie mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, first of all, 2 days.
Really stupid.
Yeah, 2 days in France, no. And then you get there and you do not go to sleep because you're toast. And especially in Europe where they have those stupid blackout shades, not stupid, but like for an American who shows up tired, you wake up like a day and a half later, you're like,
What happened? You're like in a fog. It's terrible. Yeah, I was a lesson learned easily.
There's another place that I know a lot of Americans go and they travel solo, especially women. Have you been to San Miguel?
No, I have not.
I've heard that's beautiful. Mexico?
Yeah, it's gorgeous, and there are a lot of Americans. It's really cheap there as well, but I see a lot of women traveling solo there, so check that out.
I'll have to check that out. So ironically, I travel a lot. Europe is like one of my favorite destinations, but I've actually never been to Mexico, which I think is so shocking. Especially living like in Atlanta, it's such an easy trip, but I've never done it.
Yeah, you need to check out Naviva, which is the Uber luxury tents over there in Mexico. Where would you say, like, for a solo traveler, where are a few of the absolute musts? Take Paris out of it because you've mentioned that, but where are some other ones that are great spots for a solo?
Yeah, so when it comes to solo travel, I really like a place that's a very walkable, easy to get around city. Those are my personal favorites. I recently did Stockholm by myself, and I loved it. It was so easy to get around. It was so clean. It was safe. The food was incredible. That was one of my most favorite solo destinations that I went on. Another favorite is London. And then if you want to do something more, just domestic, going to Charleston solo was really great too. Okay. There are so many great restaurants there. You can just grab a seat at the bar. And I feel like all of the bartenders in Charleston are just super friendly. It's like they are just, that Southern hospitality. That's another destination that I think is perfect for
That's a foodie town.
And you can walk around. It's easy. And it's a city you can do in like 2 days. You don't need a ton of time there either. So I think that's a great like domestic, easy trip, especially from Atlanta. It's just, an easy 5-hour drive, although I'm guilty. I like to fly there because 5 hours is a little too long for me.
Yeah, that's over the threshold. Same. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 hours is enough. Same. Yeah.
3 hours
Charleston.
is it.
We could travel together. What about Caribbean?
I've only ever really I did San Juan and I've done like the Bahamas, but I tend to go to like big international cities. That's like my go-to.
Yeah, okay, I have one for you. There's this place in St. Lucia called Cap Maison. Look it up. I meet solo women travelers there all the time. I think because it's so safe, it's enclosed, and there's no reason to leave. Like, great food, the water is unbelievable.
Yeah, Barnes, you've been talking about that for a while.
Years, yeah. They used to be a client of mine for years.
Great.
But it's Cap Maison in St. Lucia. Well, it's great to meet you. I wonder if you guys listening, are you into solo travel? Is that your thing? Like, who? I'd love to meet some of you and hear where you go, because it's like, I just don't even draw to it. I would just go absolute batch crazy.
Yeah, I'd love to talk to some folks about solo travel.
Yeah, anyone listening who does that, 470-741-4999. Thank you, Jessica. The website for Jessica is Ann Indigo Day, ANindigoday.com. It was great to meet you.
It was great to chat with you guys. I hope everyone takes a little trip by themselves, even if it's just, take yourself out to lunch by yourself. It's a great place to start.
I can't even do that. I just can't do it.
Have something to say or share with the Morning X? 470-741-4999. The Morning X with Barnes and Leslie. 470-741-499X.
End of message.
Are you ready for football?
Let's go.
Truly ready for football?
Yes.
Are you screaming for football?
What the hell is happening?
Dreaming for football?
Good times.
Eating, sleeping, crafting, parenting, naming your pets, and preparing for football?
That sort of stuff happen? Oh my goodness.
Are you dancing, jonesing, Mahomesing for football?
That's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Good. Then you are ready for football. With the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
They're ready.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.